Hey, welcome, Float Magic fans. Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to take a moment to talk about alignment, mainly because this has been a theme that has been popping up in my life a lot. I feel alignment. What is alignment? Maybe we should start there. Let's define what alignment is. Alignment is when you consider our spines, right? When our spines are aligned, everything that is supposed to work works. Everything that is supposed to fall in place does. There's no kinks, there's no bends, there's no blocks of flow, of blood flow, spinal fluid, what have you. When everything is all lined up in alignment, there's just that ability for everything to run smoother and have the flow of how it needs to run. And so when I speak about being in alignment, that's what I'm referring to, is my emotional, spiritual self in alignment. Am I in a space where things can just move into flow? I've been so privileged since opening the center that I have had a space where I can come back and get myself into an alignment. And I feel like I've done that pretty well over the last 2.5 years. And I've gone through some tough stuff. Opening a center, first and foremost, is not some small feat. It took a lot of work and planning and digging deep into myself, of understanding what the purpose is and what the outcomes need to be, and really even addressing my blocks that I have about money and money exchange. Believe it or not, that was a very hard thing for me to overcome, was the aspects of taking money for services that I know would be so beneficial for people. But again, it's just an energy exchange, right? And so coming into alignment with my viewpoints on that, and working with several people to build this space, and getting my employees in check, where they could have the tools that they needed to do to be successful and deliver the experiences that we work so hard to do here. So all of that was happening in early 2021. And as that's all happening, my personal life is falling apart. I was in alignment with my business goals, but my personal life was getting out of alignment. My son was a senior. I wasn't home. I was working here 80 hours a week. I had so many things that I was doing, and not that all contributed to where I ended up with going through a divorce and the life changes I did then, but it definitely had an impact. And so those were really hard things for me. And I feel like the center really helped me process those and give myself time and space to work through those, and was really grateful for that. But as of late, I feel like I weathered that storm, and now I'm coming back into this other set of storms that and not so much such big, heavy, life-changing experiences, but just a lot of little things that are taxing my time and taking away from what I need to do. I mean, someone near and dear to me ended up having a broken leg, so I'm spending all my time taking care of this individual who desperately needs that. At the same time, my son is dealing with knee issues, and he's going to need a caretaker, because as we're looking at potential knee surgery for him. Same time, we had shiftments in my business here, where different roles are being played, and we're having different opportunities, and I'm having to step back into roles that I haven't played for a while, which is valuable for me, very valuable for my business, but I don't know where all that time is going to come from that I need to dedicate to it. And then there's programs that I've started that are needing insane amount of my attention that I'm unable to give. How do we cope? How do we work on getting ourselves back into the alignment? Those are the questions that are coming up again. It's in my own personal life. I'm like, how do I deal with this when I can just barely get through a day and I don't have enough hours in my day to truly get these things done? And what it comes back to for me is those behaviors that I'm doing that create habits that allow me to be in my best self. There's a lot of habits that I've formulated over the years. I used to be a bodybuilder. I used to go to the gym at least an hour every day. I don't know how I made time for that, but I did. I found the time to do it while I was raising my kids, working as a nurse, also working in my role as community relations. I did it because it was a priority to me. And during that time, not only was my body in alignment, but so was my purpose, and so was my spirit, because I was working intently on an end goal. Building this business, like, that was a huge feat. When I look back at it now, I do ask myself, how did I make that happen? The thought of building a second location, which we talk about all the time, is daunting, because you don't know what you don't know going into something. But on the other side of it, you absolutely realize the efforts and what went through it to get you to the end goal. And especially being at the time it was through the pandemic and through businesses shutting their doors and closing down, and, add that added stress to everything that we were focusing on, and it made for some stressful times. But how I worked through that process was coming back to, why am I doing this? What's the purpose behind it? What's my intention? And what is this truly going to gift my community on the other side of it? Raising kids. I raised 4 sons. They were all 2 years apart. A wonderful, wonderful time of my life. Again, it was hard. It was hard to give that much energy to so many little humans who need, help with eating and going to the bathroom and learning their skills and learning how to speak and learning about life. Like, putting that intention into all of them all the time. I was exhausted by the time I got to bed at night. And when I truly consider when I was doing the best at any of those tasks, it's when I was being my best through taking time for myself. Seems so counterintuitive in many aspects. Here I am busy with my kids. Here I am busy building a business. Taking time for myself doesn't seem like would be the best use of my time. But it, in every single way, was the only way I got through it. When I was bodybuilding, that time in the gym was meditative for me. I don't listen to music when I work out at the gym. I'm one of those weird people, I guess. I don't know. But if I have earpods in my ears, it's so that I don't have to talk to anybody. It's not because I'm listening to music. Now my secret's out. But truly, that time of being in my head, I valued. It was it was a very meditative time for me to be repeatedly doing something in my body that was allowing my body to exert energy, but yet being in my head in such a quiet, silent space brought me so much value. I credit my bodybuilding to why I even got in the correct headspace to build a business. When I started my bodybuilding endeavors, I was overweight, 40 pounds overweight. Hardly had any muscle. I was an athlete when I was younger, and a dancer. And so all of that came so natural. And over time, not doing anything, of course, you lose all that muscle mass and all of that shape and form, and your muscles, it takes a long time for those muscles to remember what they once were. But they can. I totally transformed my body composition during that time. It took effort, but the end goal was, wow, I can do anything I put my mind to. I can do anything that I choose to show up for. I can take something that looks impossible. Getting up on that stage in that teeny tiny bikini, it scared me. It scared the hell out of me. I remember the day before I had to get up on that stage, I was taking a walk with my brother. I actually took a run, and he came out because I was running a lot because I didn't feel ready. I didn't feel like I was ready to get up on that stage in that teeny tiny amount of fabric and show off the work that I'd done the previous 10 months before. And he came out and walked with me and really talked me through it and just said, Shawnee, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. What matters is you knowing that you did it. You put all this energy into it. You look amazing, but that's not the end goal. The end goal was, look at what hard work can do. Look at the transformation that can happen when you put work and effort into something that you didn't think you could do. So doing that competition, I did 2 of them, and I worked 2.5 years. I was going to do another, but I decided to open a business instead. And so those competitions really set and paved the way for me to understand I can do hard things. What happened before those bodybuilding competitions? I jumped out of an airplane. I went skydiving for the first time, and for my friend's 40th birthday. And we, in that moment, said, we can do anything we put our mind to, anything at all. And that's when we decided we're going to do a bodybuilding competition. Where we came up with that was all my best friend's idea. That was not my idea, but I went with it. And I'm so grateful because it led me to where we have Flow Magic here today. So, but doing those hard things, stepping into those hard things is truly what put my abilities back into alignment. It allowed me to understand that this power in this mind can transmute to do so many wonderful, amazing, impactful things. So those moving into my center, those experiences giving me the confidence, even if it was false confidence, because I'd never built a brick and mortar building business in my life. I dabbled my hand in little businesses here and there that were through the home, or had a baking business at one point. It was called Shawnee Sweets, things like that were just dabbling in where my skills could generate interest and revenue from people. But this was a totally different endeavor for me to build a space that people were going to come into. And I had to be in alignment. I had no choice but to take care of myself during the process so that I could deliver the best outcome of what it is I was setting out to do. And so during that time, I hiked daily. I was fortunate enough to live very close to an area I could hike out daily. And I found myself this perfect little meditation spot. It was right on the canyon wall, had a dip down. Snake River was running right below me. We're so fortunate to live in this area that we do, where we have access to such beautiful, natural, majestic scenes. But that's what I'd do. I'd sit in this, I'd listen to maybe it was a book on tape or podcasts while I was doing my hike that would truly put me in tension, right leading up to my meditation. I'd sit in this little spot that it didn't matter if people were hiking by, they couldn't see me. Felt like I wouldn't be disrupted. And I could just sit in that space and meditate. And if it weren't for those moments that I took for myself, I could have completely fallen out of alignment in the stress of building, supply chains being disrupted, costs of building materials going through the roof, having no idea what the future of business was going to look like. Because those were all very real realities. They were very heavy realities for me building through a pandemic. Am I truly building something that's going to be able to even be open? But at the end of it, and those moments that I took of meditating and sitting with myself and tapping back in to that source of understanding and reminding myself that purpose is what was really driving this. That intention is what was really driving this. Not what dollar amounts were going to come back in, not what, how it was going to be received in the community. I mean, those are all pieces of it, but that wasn't the driving force that kept me in alignment. The driving force that kept me in alignment was knowing that what I was bringing to my community was going to change lives in my community. It was going to change lives one life at a time, and then it was going to transform my community. And what a blessing it has been for me and my staff to witness that that's exactly what we're taking place. When somebody comes into my center and says, "You have changed every aspect of my life for the better." Wow. That was because I took time to stay in alignment with myself. That's because I took time to remind myself of the purpose, of the intention. That's the power of doing things in alignment with intention. That outcome is felt. So when I'm overwhelmed now, it's very easy to forget that coming back into alignment is going to be the quickest way to get me back on track. It's easy to forget, even given the space that I've created, that taking a minute or 60 or 120, make it 180, to truly sit with myself and gift myself that time of internal focus. It's easy to forget that is what's truly going to move me through the obstacles that are being presented in my way. Because it feels like that's the last thing I should be doing. And I think that's why we as a society are struggling so much right now, is we have these expectations. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to do this. I don't have time for that because then I can't do this. But if we don't take time to be the best version of ourselves, how can we expect anything that we're delivering to be a success? The best gift you can give anybody around you is being the best version of yourself. And that doesn't happen by circumstance. That doesn't happen by happen chance. It happens through intention and focus on healing and paying attention to aspects of ourselves that are draining our energy, that are distracting us from what truly matters, that are pulling us away from things we know we should be doing for ourselves first. Because this deserves to be felt by the world around us. The gifts that we hold, the power that we have to create just because we exist. We're humans. We're designed to create and to share and to make our world around us vivid by whatever gifts that we're given. If we don't take time to truly put ourselves in a position where we understand what those gifts are within us and to truly understand how we want to deliver those gifts, not only that we want to deliver the gifts, but truly how we want to step into the opportunity to deliver those. How do we want those presented to this world around us? Because how it's received is where people are at. How gifts are received by people is a perception of where they're at in their life. And we can never take that personally. It's so easy to, right? Like, it's easy to take all these things personally, but when you're doing it with the right intention, and when you know it's your purpose, how it's received by others is something that you can just let go and let the universe determine. Because you know for a fact that the energy you put into the intention and the time you spent making sure the purpose is intact and is true and authentic, it doesn't matter how it's received. But it'll be received quite well from my experience. I've shared stories of people coming in here talking about the felt intention when they walk through our center, and that they can sense the love, the care, the focus that was put into this space, into these walls. Every Tuesday, my staff shows up and deep cleans this place top to bottom. That's part of the intention that's pushed into this space. They clean every day anyway. They clean after every time you guys use a service. Don't want to say it's just once a week, but the one time a week when we come and we just pour love into this building. We take care of it. We think of all the people that we get to see through this building, all the experiences that people are having here, all the lives that are changing, all the transformation that is happening. One day a week, we get to push that love back into the walls of the center. And that is why you feel the way you do when you walk through our doors. It's not by accident. It's all on purpose. And it's all based on being in alignment, having the right intention, and being fully aware of the purpose. So I hope that when you question, do I have time to spend time with myself? Yeah. You don't have time not to. Our life is short. We have a minuscule amount of time to make a difference in this life. But it all starts here. It all starts with connecting back to here. And that's what we're here for at Float Magic. Thank you for tuning in today. Appreciate that you want to listen to the words we have to share. Hope it resonates with you. Hope it inspires you to truly embrace who you are and push that back out into the world, because the world deserves to see that. And remember, it's perfectly okay to stay salty.